Okay, so this is part 2 of my Remuda story. Yeah, so like I said in the end of my last video, I felt terrible about like all the weight that they made me gain. It wasn't like they didn't get me to a ridiculous weight. I will say that. And I wouldn't say for the most part that they got people to like, they made people fat or something like that. That's not true. But I was just very uncomfortable with it. The basic like schedule of the program, it's not that different than most treatment centers I've been in. We have groups like body image and self-esteem and nutrition. And we have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which we have in like sort of like it's like cafeteria style. There are 2 main houses in the adolescent program where I was. They're called Mariposa, which they always called it Mariposa, which bothered me because I speak Spanish, and that's just not how you pronounce it, which it means butterfly, but anyways. Most people there obviously didn't speak Spanish. And then the other one was Sagebrush, and the people in your house were like kind of the people you did most of your treatment with, but then occasionally you'd come together with like everyone from both houses for certain groups and for all the main meals. And the meals, everyone eats basically the same things. There's like sometimes people have like add-ons they have to have depending on like how their dietitian is doing weight gain or whatever. But you eat basically the same meals, and they're like, I think they say they're 500 calories each, so everyone eats at least like 1,500 calories, and then what else you eat is determined by like your dietitian, and you have like a certain number of like exchanges you have for snacks. So it's a really weird system to me because I like was used to doing exchanges, and they called them like EQs for snacks. So I think I had like 3 to 6. So they would have things that were like labeled like 1, 2, and 3. So like an apple would be a 1. An apple like with some peanut butter would be a 2. So then you just have to like get enough to like fulfill whatever number of EQs your dietitian requires you to have. And I don't know. Like I was okay with how they did it. It was different than what I was used to, but I sort of understand why they did it that way because it is more like normal eating. So, even if you're on weight gain, it doesn't feel like you're eating way more than like you would if you weren't on weight gain, and that makes it like easier to transition from weight gain to not being on weight gain, I guess. I think my favorite group was probably art therapy. Art therapy was actually, it was fun because sometimes we just gotta do kind of like whatever we want, and you gotta be creative, which I like. I also like the horses. I just like the riding aspect of it. I tried to do equine therapy once with my therapist, and it was just ridiculous and stupid. It was like the horse was like symbolizing my eating disorder, and I don't know. It was really weird, but just like the riding the horses on the trails and other things was nice. I have heard, however, like as the economy's gotten worse, they have to keep cutting more and more from the Remuda program, so it's like not what it used to be, and even now I've heard that it's gotten like even worse overall. So I'll just say like overall it's not a program that was right for me, and I'm not sure I would recommend it to people. Like it wouldn't be the first place I'd recommend. For some people, like it is a good place, and if you are more religious and that's like something you're interested in, then it could be a good program. Just for me, it wasn't. Basically, everyone pretty much stays there for about 2 months, and you actually have to sign a contract, which is really interesting, or like your parents or whoever does, to say that you will stay there for 2 months, or like your insurance won't cover it if you don't, or like your insurance has to agree to that, and then if they won't cover that, then you have to cover like the rest of it if they like pull out after a month or something. And Remuda likes to brag about the rate of recovery they have for the clients, and part of that is the fact that they require people to stay that long, because a lot of other places I've been in, their treatment will like or not their treatment, their insurance will pull out. Like, people will be in treatment a week, and their insurance will see that they haven't purged or restricted in that 1 week, and then will stop covering them, which is just ridiculous, but it happens. But at Remuda, because they have, like, such strict standards, that's probably the reason that they are more successful than other programs. So, I think it's kind of BS, like, what they say about we have a greater rate of recovery for, like, the people who go through our program. It's not really true. Other than that, things that, like, I did like were, there were a lot of great girls that I met, and some that I still stay in contact with. And I think that's true for every time I've been in treatment. I meet great people, and, like, some of the staff, too, even. Like, some of them were just insane, but, like, a few of them were really wonderful people that I felt, like, really fortunate to get to, be around and, like, have as part of my recovery. Probably, other than, like, the weight gain stuff and, like, exercise, my biggest problem, maybe, with Remuda is the fact that they were really drug happy. They were happy to give you drugs for whatever problems you had, including, like, I forget what they're called, like benzos or something, like Xanax or Ativan, or, like, things for anxiety that really, like, I felt like they should be teaching you to work through your anxiety instead of medicating people. Like, I never took those ones, but I know a lot of girls who did. They offered it to me, and I was like, no, because I'm not really into meds. But then they also put me on Seroquel, because this, like, psychiatrist there was, like, super into Seroquel, because he said it, like, you know, would help with, like, your body image and your eating disorder thoughts, which maybe it does for some people, but it also has the side effect of weight gain. And he did not tell me that, and he put so many girls on it, the psychiatrist I have. And basically, it ended up making me relapse, because after I went home, I kept gaining weight because of that medication. And so, and once I saw that, I freaked out and immediately went back into, like, restriction mode and lost a whole bunch of weight and ended up back in treatment. So it was kind of, like, all for nothing then. And, like, I honestly didn't even realize that that was what had happened until, like a few months ago, and then I was like, it was the Seroquel that did that to me, because I was okay, and I was just like, why am I so hungry, and, like, why am I eating like this, like, I've never done this before. And once I went off that drug, I felt, like, 1,000 times better. So, yeah, if you do go to Remuda, like, ask them to, like, really explain side effects of any drugs they want to put you on, or just don't go on them, because it's really not worth it. And they're just really into medicating people, which to me just seems kind of wrong. As far as, like, my therapist and dietitian go, my dietitian was, like, okay, she wasn't my favorite person, but I didn't think she was terrible either. My therapist, I didn't connect with him. Like, he wasn't a bad person, but I didn't have a great relationship, and I didn't really look forward to talking to him. And I just felt kind of uncomfortable with him. Like, he didn't do anything to make me uncomfortable. It's just generally, like, he wasn't my favorite person. And, you know, like, they don't really let you switch therapists. They just assign you one, and, like, that's who you get. I mean, other random facts might be interesting. You can't, like, ever pretty much go on the computer unless you're doing schoolwork. It was, like, summer break the entire time I was there, so I didn't do schoolwork. So that sucks, because no internet. And we could only watch, like, G-rated movies, no joke. So it was basically, like, Disney movies the entire time I was there. And we're only supposed to watch them, like, on weekends, I think. But we watched them during the week anyways, and they didn't seem to care. But that's kind of how that went. Overall, I was just really happy once I got out. And like I said, this is my personal experience. This isn't true for everyone. Like, I do know some girls that, like, thought it was a wonderful program. But for me personally, it wasn't. And, like, I think I stayed, like, stable for all of 2 weeks after I got out. So, that's just my experience. And, yeah, you can feel free to comment. So, I think that's all I'm going to say for now, but you can feel free to ask me more questions or leave comments, and I will try to answer them as quickly as possible.